It's diving time!
Shalom, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshabrak Thought, all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal the Thought by Shem Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. With the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohanan. And what we teach is that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel according to the Bible. And we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If it is not in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohanan, then it is not of the Most High, man. You understand? Alright, so I'm trying to get the chat up so I can see where y'all typing in at. Bear with me 1 second. If y'all have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. Alright, so the topic of today's class, we're going to be talking about the laws of God are perfect. The laws of the Most High are perfect. You understand? And it's perfect in a sense that, you know, we as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we've been living under our oppressor. You understand, who has ingrained it in his culture to break God's laws. You understand? So all the way from slavery, even when we were slaves, when we were on the plantation, you know, picking cotton and things like that, we would celebrate our oppressors' holidays, and during those celebrations, you know, understand, all of them were against the Most High and worshiping other gods, the gods that our oppressors worship. You understand? And so, you know, and even in his law is constantly changing. You know, it seemed like every other month they passing new laws and new statutes, new amendments and things like that, new articles and new bills and things like that. So our oppressor's law in itself isn't even perfect. You understand? Because one, almost the entirety of that law is designed to keep you oppressed. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? Meanwhile, the laws of the Most High require us to come together, require us to turn to our brother or our sister, require us to turn to our own. You understand? Require us to enrich our own. You understand? Here in America, we live under our oppressor, and we give so much love and so much admiration to these other nations that nobody has any love for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? And how can you tell this? You can tell this because even in America, before everything got shut down with the COVID-19, who you think was working on all these farms? You understand? Who you think was working in all these factories? You had blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and mainly the Hispanics. You understand? And so these Hispanics, they come over here and they'll work for $2 an hour, $3 an hour. You understand? Struggling to make ends meet, but they sacrifice to be able to provide a better life for their children. You understand? Some of the most meek and humble people that you ever meet. And what does this nation choose to do with them? We choose to we live in a nation that shuts down immigration, that sending Chinese people over here by the boatload. You understand? But turning our people away at the border. You understand? When these Chinese people, they not coming over here providing all the vegetables and fruit and things like that that's coming off of these farms all across America. The Chinese man ain't coming into these hotels cleaning up after other people. You understand? The Chinese man ain't coming over here and doing all that. The Chinese man is coming over here and building his kingdom from within America. You understand? The Chinese man comes over here, sets up Chinese businesses, and sends all that money back to China. You understand? When blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the only thing we trying to do is survive. And even in America, it's illegal for a Hispanic brother to survive in America. You understand? It's illegal for a black man to survive in America. You understand? To be in America, to live under our oppressors' laws, you understand, and turn completely against the Most High's laws, then we're going to forever be stuck here being destroyed in America. You understand? Meanwhile, keeping the Most High's laws is what's going to pull us out of America. That's what's going to pull us together to build our own kingdom. You understand? I was thinking about it just yesterday. I was thinking about how amazing our Hispanic brothers are. You understand? Think about how amazing they are and the things that they do. You understand? They you drive down in every new neighborhood where new houses are getting built. You see the Hispanic brothers building houses in a matter of weeks, in a couple of weeks.
No, fly away. Fly away.
You understand? You have houses.
No, fly away. Fly.
Hey, you shot it.
Fly on.
All right, so the thing is that I would ride down the street and I would see our Hispanic brothers building houses in a matter of weeks. You understand? Some cases in a matter of days. As soon as they put the foundation, they have the walls up and the roof up in a couple days. You understand? You don't see our oppressor doing nothing like that. You don't see him doing anything close to that. But yet, we got our Hispanic brothers and sisters up there breaking their backs for our oppressor, building these houses and building this entire kingdom. You understand? And then have the nerve to say, all right, well, we just gonna start rounding up Hispanics and get them up out of here. They taking all the jobs. You understand? But let me ask you this: if they coming over here taking all the jobs, who else is gonna go and work for the contracting company? Because the contracting companies, believe it or not, they would go bankrupt if it wasn't for Hispanics. These contracting companies will go bankrupt, and guess what? They don't have to. They don't have to. They don't take a loss when these Hispanics get rounded up. You understand? They don't take a loss from that. You understand? The only thing they doing is they going back to the unemployment office and tell a whole bunch of Hispanics to jump right back up on the truck the next day. They don't give a damn about our people. They pay them pennies, but yet our people go out here and build entire neighborhoods for these oppressors, for these devils. You understand? Got to thinking about the Native Indian brothers and sisters. You understand how amazing that they are. You understand? They taught our oppressor everything that the oppressor loves to do here in America. Him going out hunting. You understand? All of those things that our oppressor knows how to do or does for sport. The Native Indians taught him all of that. You understand? The entire military force, the entire military force, the Marines, the armies, and all of that, the Navy SEALs, all of those military tactics were learned from the Native Indian. You understand? Because I don't know if you ever remember seeing those old war movies, a Revolutionary War. You understand? You look at how everybody went to war back in the day. They would all stand in a straight line. You literally had a front line. You understand? You had a line behind him and a line behind them. You understand? You literally had a front line, two front lines going at each other in a straight line. You understand? And they would just stand there and shoot each other. And whoever lost, whoever dropped the most bodies win. You understand? But when they ran into the Native Indian, when they started going to war with the Native Indian wasn't fighting in no straight line. You understand? The Native Indian was fighting in what they call today guerrilla warfare, where they would stick and move, they would attack and move, they would hit you from the side. You understand? Hit you from all different angles, to where our oppressor had the best weaponry, but yet struggled when it came to battling the North American Indian. You understand? That's because everything that our military everything America's military learned came from the North American Indian. Even the tracking of animals, the hunting and the tracking of things, those were learned from the Native Indian. You understand? Our oppressor wasn't tracking anything over there in Europe. Wasn't tracking down animals in the cave. That's what the Gadites were doing in North America. You understand? Even during our oppressor stint in Europe, they don't hunt in Europe the way they hunt in America. You understand? They actually track animals. You understand? And learn the animals, and that's how they hunt. All of that was learned from the North American Indian. Salak. You understand? And then you look at black brothers and sisters, the Negro. You understand? The Negro, you know what I mean? Like everything great that America has ever done, everything great about America came from the hands of a black man, Hispanic man, or a Native Indian man. You understand? The whole, if it wasn't for black people, the United States government would have never sent a rocket to the moon. You understand? Would have never got a rocket to the moon. You understand? Had it not been for a black man, our oppressor would have never figured out and successfully figured out open heart surgery. You understand? All of these things came from the minds of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? We were the greatest builders on the earth. We were the greatest farmers on the earth. Like the scriptures say, we are the salt of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. You understand? Not the basil of the earth, not the lemon juice. You understand? We're not the black pepper of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. You ever cook food without salt? You can use every seasoning in the world you can think of. It ain't gonna taste as good as when you sprinkle that salt on it. You understand? Trust me, I know. You understand? I've been trying to figure out how to make chicken taste good without salt for 6 months now. You understand? It's hard. It's hard not having that salt to sprinkle on your food. You understand? Make it taste like something. You can sprinkle everything in the cupboard and it still tastes like rubber. You understand? Israel is the salt of the earth. You understand? So you think about anything that a people can do, we do it better. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians do it better. When it comes to hunting animals, we do it better. When it comes to building structures, we do it better. We built some of the, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians built some of the greatest structures in all of the history of mankind. Things that our oppressors sit back and scratch his head and think it had to been aliens that built it. Nah, it wasn't aliens that built it. It was Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? Trust me out. They think aliens built the pyramids in Egypt, but yet they got pyramids in South America and pyramids in the United States. Who made those pyramids then? You understand? And so, with that, the laws of the Most High, the system of America keeps everybody divided. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, even the Hispanic brothers and sisters, it keeps them all divided. You understand? One second. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we've all been divided because of the conquest of North Central South America, because of the transatlantic slave trade. You understand? We've all been divided. You understand? Even our Hispanic brothers. You understand? You have Hispanic brothers in Mexico, Portugal, Chile. You understand? Puerto Rico, Cuba, Nicaragua, Peru. You understand? Argentina, Colombia. And you have all of these different tribes, all these different nations. And they're all these different countries. And they're all one nation. You understand? Even the Native American. You understand? At one point in time, the Native Americans didn't look at Mexicans like those are Mexicans and we are Native Americans. They didn't look at each other like that. They looked at each other as natives. They were both natives of different tribes. You understand? One people, different tribe. You understand? At one point in time, Mexicans looked at Puerto Ricans like we were the same people, different tribes. You understand? But yet now we're so divided. Our oppressor came through and said, this land is Puerto Rico. These are Puerto Ricans. This land is Mexico, and these are Mexicans. This land is Chile, and these are Chileans. And so, and this land is Jamaica, and these are Jamaicans. Those are all titles that our oppressor put on us. No different than the NBA. You understand? You got brothers and sisters from all the same tribe, from the tribe of Judah, but yet this group of brothers is called the Los Angeles Lakers. This group of brothers is called the New York Knicks. You understand? Our oppressor, he's always done this. He does it in sports. He did it when he conquered America. You understand? And his entire system is designed to keep us vain and to keep us divided. You understand? Even our households, this system is designed to keep our households divided. You understand? To keep our women divided from the man. You understand? To keep our parents divided from the children. You understand? Everything about this society is designed to keep us separate from each other. Because if we come together, then we do things that have never been seen before in the earth. Like in Black Wall Street. A part of history a lot of people don't realize about Black Wall Street is that during Black Wall Street, it was not just black people that came together in Black Wall Street, but it was black people that came together as well with Native Americans. So it was blacks and natives that came together and built Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You understand? So all of these things, these are different things in history that black people need to recognize. Blacks and Hispanics need to recognize. You understand? Even the Seminole Indians. You understand? A lot of people don't know, but the Seminole Indians, they came together with the tribe of Judah. You understand? They came together with the tribe of Judah, because there was a lot of slaves that were fleeing slavery and were going to live amongst the natives, and they would live in native land. You understand? With the natives, and just like how you had this part of the land belongs to me and this part of the land belongs to you, you understand? We still dwelt amongst each other, you understand, and fought wars with each other. You understand? So blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, it's imperative that we come together, especially in these days. You understand? With COVID-19 running rampant, if blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, imagine this, if blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians dealt with themselves and nobody else, then we wouldn't even have to worry about COVID-19. You understand? We wouldn't have to worry about that. Imagine if we had our own land. We had our own land, grew our own crops. You understand? We would have no reason to deal with the other nations. If we had even if we didn't have our own land, if we were just segregated, if we were segregated in America, we wouldn't feel so bad today about sitting at the back of the bus because everybody at the front of the bus got COVID-19. You understand? And then we go to these Christian churches, and our Christian churches tell us that God's laws are done away with. You understand? They tell us that God's laws are done away with. You understand? How can you do away with God's law? You understand? How can you do away with the Most High? When did the Most High, what scripture in the Bible did the Most High say that, oh, don't worry about keeping the law, I was just playing? You understand? What sense do that make? What sense do it make for the Most High to build an empire of lawless people? You understand? If that's the case, then our oppressor is God's chosen people. Because they break God's laws better than anybody. If that's the case, you understand? But that's the religion of our oppressor. Our oppressor is in contrary to the Most High. You understand? Our oppressor is an adversary of the Most High. You understand? And how do you know this? Because face to face, every day, we face the oppression of that beast. And we are the Most High's children. We are the Lord's children. And he hates us, been hating us for 400 years. You can't say you love somebody that you had in chains, that you had in slavery. You understand? That you hung from his neck and raped his wife. You understand? And starved his children. You can't say that you love somebody that and then turn around and do those things to him. You understand? Our oppressor, like the scriptures say, Esau has had a perpetual hatred for our people. You understand? And so if you follow in Christianity, you are following that same hatred, you understand, that our oppressor has for our people. You're following that same hatred. You understand? It's a hatred that you have to have for your people, to sit right beside them and get filthy rich and then watch them be destroyed. You understand? From your lies. You understand? How many lives you think got destroyed by the Christian church? You understand? The general brought it out a couple weeks ago that what was it? Over a million people. So like, I think over a million people have been molested by the Christian church. You understand? It's got been a couple million people have been molested by the Christian church. You understand? And those couple million people, think about it. That is mental trauma that's been inside of their brain since they was a child. You understand? From being molested as a child and then taken to church. Can you imagine? You got molested as a child, and then you get taken to church every Sunday by the people that's supposed to protect you from child molesters, and sit there and force you to worship the man that molested you your whole life. You understand? It's a sickening thing that goes on in these Christian churches. And that's why the Most High sent this COVID-19 down here on this earth, because he wanted to shut the mouth of these Christian pastors. He wanted to shut their mouth, man. Even if it's just for a second. You know, they about to open the country back up in a couple weeks, this coming week. They about to open up South Carolina. Even though it's about to open back up, the Lord wanted to shut their mouth. You understand? The Lord wanted to shut their mouth, and he did. He shut their mouth. You understand? Because he made way for the true prophets of the Most High to speak. You understand? And that's what we've been doing since 1969. You understand? The laws of the Most High are perfect, man. And the Lord did not destroy them. And I'm going to prove that to you. We're going to go to Psalms chapter 19, verse 17. You understand? Psalms chapter 19, verse 17. Salakia. All right, Psalms chapter 19, verse 17, and it reads, "The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple." You understand? Now let's break that down. You understand? If the laws are done away with, you understand? How can you do away with a law that is perfect? You understand? If you just think about it, that doesn't even make sense. If you are an artist, if you create anything, if you build anything, you understand? And you built it. Imagine if you build model cars or something like that, and you made one that was absolutely perfect. It was nothing wrong with it, no flaws. The paint on it, it was everything. You got the chrome just right. Everything looked the way it should. Everything looks in order. You understand? Everything works. You got all the pieces, and you didn't miss nothing. You understand? Would you do away with it? You wouldn't do away with it. You understand? Because if it was perfect, then you. Because think about it. The Lord created. The Most High created the earth. He created the earth perfect. You understand? He didn't do away with the earth. You understand? He created man. He didn't do away with us. You understand? He created all the plant life and vegetation. He created all the animals. He didn't do away with those. So if he put in this law existed long before man ever existed, because this law is the Most High's will. You understand? This predates man. So how can it be done away with? You understand? How can a law be done away with when people still dropping dead of heart disease? When blacks and Hispanics are still number one in diabetes? You understand? How can the law be done away with when we are still being punished for our sins here in America? How can the law be done away with? If the law was done away with, you understand, then why did we go into slavery? You understand? Why did blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians go into slavery if God's law is done away with? If God's law is done away with, then what's the use in getting mad about Michael Brown getting murdered? If God's laws are done away with, why are we upset about Trayvon Martin? If God's laws done away with, you understand? If God's laws are done away with, then if God's laws are done away with, then if your child gets molested, you should be perfectly fine with it. You understand? But you're not perfectly fine with it. You're not perfectly fine with your brother getting murdered unjustly. You're not fine with that. You're not okay with that. You understand? And that's why the law of the Most High is perfect. Because the law of the Most High states that it is, according to the Most High's law, it is illegal to molest a child. And guess what? According to God's law, if you molest a child, you get put to death. You understand? You get put to death for that action. You understand? But yet in America, we want to say God's laws are done away with. But yet we accept our oppressor's law. You understand? And in our oppressor's law, what happens to a child molester? They might get probation. You understand? They have to register as a sex offender. You understand? Just to go out here and to keep molesting kids. You understand? And so that child would then still be living in the same neighborhood as the person that molested, or in some cases, they living in the same house as the person that molested them. You understand? But according to the Most High's law, you understand? The Most High's law orders him to be put to death. And you know what? That judgment is what's going to help that child to be able to heal from that trauma. You understand? We don't think about that. We don't think about that. You understand? Because it's a lot of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that are victims of child molestation that never heal from it. They go into adulthood, they end up having children and end up living a destructive lifestyle that leads their children right into the hands of a child molester. And then that cycle starts over and over and over again. You understand? Because there is no judgment. There's no proper judgment if we only go by our oppressor's law. Guess what? Our oppressor's law says it's okay for it's okay to be a homosexual. You understand? It's okay for you to be a homosexual in America. You understand? But yet, because of homosexuality, now blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are number one in HIV, number one in hepatitis, number one in any STD you can think of. You understand? Because think about it, down in Atlanta, right? In Atlanta, I remember reading an article. It said that 50% of the population in Atlanta are knowingly infected with HIV. 50%. It's how many people in Atlanta? Let me see. What's the population of Atlanta? Let's see what Google has to say. As General Muhammad say, my Google machine is not getting good service. Give me 1 second. Here we go. What? Population. It says it's only 400,000 people in Atlanta. I don't believe that. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I don't believe this. It's saying 400,000 people live in Atlanta, but it's saying 900,000 live in Charlotte. Okay, here we go. 4.5 million. Okay, excuse me. So in Atlanta, you have 4.5 million, 5.6 million. So in Atlanta, you have 10 million people that live in Atlanta altogether. Just over 10 million people live in Atlanta between the city and the metropolitan area, or the metropolitan area and the urban area, whatever. So no, so like it's 5.6 million people that live in Atlanta. So that means out of 5.6 million people that live in Atlanta, yeah, I thought it was Trey Davis. I thought it was 498,000 too, but that's not correct. The actual correct number is 5.6 million. The Atlanta metropolitan area is home to 5.6 million, making it the ninth largest city in the United States. Because 400,000, there's 200,000 people live in Anderson County alone. So, 400,000 people, I know that can't be correct. I don't even know where the Census Bureau is even getting these numbers. So, I don't know what that's all about. But it's 5.6 million people that live in Atlanta. Out of 5.6 million people, that means that over 2.5 million people, almost 3 million people just in Atlanta are infected with HIV. You understand? So to live without the Most High's laws, then you opening yourself for every curse that's on this earth. You understand? AIDS and HIV. All of that is a curse from the Most High. You understand? Eating whatever you want, pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You understand? Then you open yourself up for every disease known to man. You understand? Because there's, like, think about it like this: a pig, right? A pig is one of the most filthiest animals on the earth. You understand? A pig will eat anything. You understand? A pig is one of the few animals that will eat an entire rotting human carcass from the tip top of his head all the way down to his toenails. A pig is one of the few animals that'll do that. You understand? It'll eat a rotting human corpse, bones and all. You understand? In fact, here in South Carolina, that's how some of these devils get rid of bodies, still to this day. You understand? There's people still to this day getting ate by pigs on these farms. You understand? And then what they do is they take them pigs they slaughter the pigs, chop them up into pork chops and bacon bits and fat back and pig feet and pork rinds and chitlins and sausage patties and you know what I mean, and hot, mechanically separated pork meat for hot dogs and all type of other stuff. You understand? And inside of a pig, from what I understand about pigs is they don't even have sweat glands. You understand? They don't sweat out the impurities that they eat, that they consume. They don't sweat out those impurities. You know how when you done ate a whole bunch of food that wasn't good and you go and work out, you understand, and you got that, and you sweat and sweat, and then all of a sudden you got that crust on your forehead, on your arms, you got all that crust, that sweat crust. That's all the toxins and impurities that's coming out of your body when you sweat. You understand? Well, guess what? A pig does not have that. You understand? So what a pig does, is a pig's flesh absorbs all of those impurities. You understand? It absorbs it. You understand? People eat pig, and and pig, I once ate pork when I was in the world. You understand? And pig has a salty flavor to it. There's a salty flavor. But here's what you don't understand about that pig. The reason why pork's flesh is salty, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an example. For anybody that's ever had a tooth pulled, if you ever had a wisdom tooth pulled or any tooth, if you just had a tooth pulled, one of the things that the dentist warns you about is something called dry socket. You understand? Dry socket is an infection that happens in the hole that once was your tooth. So what happens is it starts to get, something might fall into the hole. And if something falls in, like if you eat solid food or something, a crumb might fall into the hole. And if that crumb falls into that hole, then it causes you to get an infection in that hole. So the whole hole fills up with pus and infection and all type of, all type of stuff. And blood and pus, and it's disgusting. Smells real bad. But it tastes real salty. You understand? It tastes very, very salty. Guess what? That pus, that saltiness that's in that infection, is the same saltiness that is inside of pork flesh. That's where it gets its flavor from infections and bacteria that lives inside of the meat. You understand? And yet we go and put that into our bodies like it tastes good. You understand? And guess what? Eating pork and all that is no different than smoking a crack rock. You understand? It tastes good to a crackhead. You understand? It smells good to a crackhead. Just like that bacon smells good to somebody that eats pork. To somebody that don't eat pork, it make us sick to our stomach. You understand? So if God's laws are done away with, then why is half of Atlanta, why is 2-point-something million people in Atlanta infected with HIV? If God's laws are done away with. If it's okay to be a homosexual. Why are so many people dying of AIDS in Atlanta? You understand? If God's laws are done away with, why so many black people have heart disease and heart problems and high blood pressure and hypertension? You understand? If God's laws are done away with, you understand? Here's the real issue. The real thing is that we put away God's laws. We put away God's laws. And guess what? There's a price for that. There's a price for that. Just like how if you living with your parents and you growing up, you're in school, you're in the 8th grade, going to school, your parents say, I need you home at 9 o'clock. Every night, home at 9 o'clock. And if you're not home at 9 o'clock, you're not turning on the Xbox. So you come home at 10 o'clock. Guess what's going to happen? You're not going to play no Xbox. You understand? So that is your judgment for not following your parents' law. Now, just because one day you decide, you know what, my parents is just unjust, I'm not going to listen to them. They say come home at 9 o'clock, I'm going to keep coming home at 10 o'clock. By coming home at 10 o'clock, they're not going to take away my Xbox. And then that's how black people are here in America. That's how we are. We are that child that got told, be home at 9 o'clock, or you're not playing Xbox. And then we come home at 10 o'clock thinking that we still going to play Xbox, and then be wondering why we can't play the Xbox. You understand? It's because you broke the order given to you by your parents. You understand? And that's the reason why black people went into slavery. Because the Lord is chastising blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? Because his law is perfect. His law is perfect. Guess what? Here's how this law is perfect. If God's laws is done away with and everybody can be a homosexual, then let me ask you this. Where babies gonna come from? What two men is out here getting pregnant? I need to, I don't need to know. But you understand? How are you gonna make it being a homosexual? How can a nation of people survive if everybody's a homosexual? You understand? If everybody's a homosexual, men, women, if everybody's a homosexual, how are you gonna survive? You understand? What kind of honor is there in homosexuality? You understand? You might be able to have babies. You might be able to go and sleep with a lesbian and get a lesbian pregnant and do all this weird stuff that's going on nowadays with gay people and children. You understand? But you're not gonna have no family. All your children are gonna be psychologically destroyed. You understand? I can't imagine what it'd be like to even grow up in a house with two mommies or two fathers. You understand? Like how would that compute in the brain? I can't even imagine how that computes in the brain of a child. And then you teach a child, well, we're homosexual, you can be homosexual too. And then you just rob this child of his opportunity to leave his legacy. Because now this child thinks it's cool to be a homo, thinks that he's supposed to be a homo. You understand? So like, a homosexual, you understand? You understand? Makes it, and you teaching these children that it's okay to be a homosexual. You understand? And guess what? The Lord, the Most High might have had mercy on you, but then what you gonna do when your child is 15 years old on a hospital bed dying of HIV because you told him it was cool to be a homosexual? You understand? But here's the deal. Well, if he followed God's laws and got him a woman, he wouldn't be dying of HIV. We wouldn't be dying of HIV at an extremely high rate. You understand? Not only that, but if blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians understood that sex was marriage, then we wouldn't be out here sleeping with everything with a wet hole. You understand? Spreading all types of disease. And here's the thing: you got a lot of sisters, and it ain't just the sisters; it's the society. It's the women in this society. Period. You understand? But you got sisters that by the time they 25 years old, done slept with 100 different men. You understand? And then say they want to settle down and have a relationship. You understand? And guess what? All these 100 men, they remember what you did. They remember. They was there. You understand? And they don't want no parts of you. You understand? So that creates an entire world for black people where black men hate black women hate black men men hate their own brother, black women hate their own sister, and both black men and black women hate their own children, who children hate their own parents. You understand? That's where being lawless ends up, or that's where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans end up being lawless, having put away the Most High's laws. You understand? We're gonna go back to that scripture. It says, "The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul." So what does that mean? Somebody in the class, I want you to type in, what does that mean? When that scripture says converting the soul, what does that mean? Somebody tuning in, I want you to answer that for me. What does it mean when that scripture says converting the soul, how does the law, you understand? Well, what does that mean? Somebody break it down for me. I hope everybody's safe out there, especially in South Carolina. We got tornadoes, it's all outside right now. So, what does that mean? Converting the soul. Trey Davis says control. Uh, what do you mean when you say control? What does that mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean when you say control? It says are you saying like control the soul? Like says converting the soul. Like what does it mean to convert the soul? I guess a better question was how does the law convert the soul? Getting your spirit back on track. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. You understand? That's on point. You know, getting your spirit back on track, Kazak Shapar. You understand? You know, I'll take that. You understand? Converting the soul. You understand? To give you an example, right? You know, it's brothers in the UPK whose soul have been converted. You understand? And it's and you know, and then a lot of these fake Israelite groups should thank the Lord for it. Real talk. You understand? Because there's brothers that at one point in time was drug dealers, pimps, murderers, gang members. You understand? And brothers came into the UPK at one point in time. They were selfish. You understand? We all was like that. You know, I was selfish coming into the truth. You know, thought about only myself. You understand? Thought about only on what dollar I could make and what woman I could sleep with. You understand? Dude, them seem to be the only two things that I felt like I'd live for when I was in the world. You understand? Was money and women. That was it. If it wasn't those two things, it did not matter to me. You understand? So, learning that I was an Israelite. Learning that I'm one of God's chosen people. And then learning what that means for me. And then learning the history on Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Learning the laws of the Bible. And choosing to walk that path. You understand? Gave me a whole new reason to live. You understand? It gives brothers a whole new, you know, when we was walking around on this earth, we was dead. You understand? We was dead men. We was dead men waiting to die. You understand? And now we in the UPK and we live. You understand? Brothers become alive in the UPK. You understand? So the law converts your soul. It says the law of the Most High is perfect. You understand? And it converts your soul. And I asked, how does it convert your soul? It says by getting rid of the demons. Okay, because Aksapar says by getting rid of the demons. Okay, so the law itself, does not get rid of demons. You understand? There's action that you have to take in order to get rid of those demons. Because you can learn all day that it's unlawful to eat pork. But if you're still eating pork, then you worse than the person that never even heard the law. You understand? So you're not converting. You understand? But I tell you what, let's do this. Let me see. Turn to James chapter 1, verse 25. Baba Kasha. All right, so the law itself doesn't just get rid of demons. You understand? You know, you don't just become holy by hearing the law, by learning the law. You understand? It doesn't work like that. It's not quite that simple. So in James chapter 1 verse 25, I'm going to read that scripture for you. It says, "But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer." So a forgetful hearer, that's the person that hears the law every day, or is off, however, someone that's walking by a camp and sat there and listen to us tell them, stop eating pork, stop being a homosexual, stop being a whore, stop sleeping with white women. You understand? And they're forgetful hearer, meaning they hear us, but they about to go sleep with this white woman and go snort cocaine and eat bacon and worship white Jesus. You understand? That's what they're gonna do. They hear you, but they not gonna listen to you. They just hear you. You understand? And I'm gonna read on. It says, "But a doer of the work." You understand? So you have to do this. This is the law is something you have to do. You understand? It's not just something you just have to learn or hear or listen to. You got some people that just want to hear it. They just want to listen and just you just want to follow us on YouTube and just watch all the videos. You understand? But you don't want to take that step. You understand? Of what the Most High requires of you. You understand? The Most High requires action. The Lord is a man of war. You don't go to war by sitting there. You go to war by fighting. You understand? You have to fight to be in war. If you are at war, there's a fight on your hands. And guess what? The Lord is a man of war. Guess what? It was an act of war when the Lord brought us out of Egypt. The Lord went to war with Egypt. And guess what? The Lord is going to war with the entire world right now with COVID-19. You understand? The Lord is going to war with the entire planet right now. Got everything shut down and crashed the oil market and crashed it. I think last time I checked, the price of oil was negative $40 a barrel, meaning that I should go get me some oil. They should pay me some money. I'll take it. Pay me $40 a barrel, send me $1 million of them. I'll take all of them and take $40 million for it. Pile it up in my backyard. Send it to me. I'll take that money. You understand? The Lord done turned the whole world economy upside down. The entire world centers around the petrodollar. That is the balance of the entire earth. As long as there is a petrodollar, the world as it is exists. You understand? Now it's at negative $40 a barrel. You understand? That, by definition, is a total world economic collapse. By definition. You understand? So for anybody this conspiracy theorists out there that talks about the coming world collapse, well, guess what? It's happening. This is a total world economic collapse. When the petrodollar hits zero, that is an economic collapse. And it's at negative 40. You understand? The Lord shut the entire world down. Shut it down with a microscopic disease that some people don't even believe exists. You understand? So like it. It says, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. You understand? Guess what? The Lord gonna look out for you. The Lord is gonna watch over you when you step into this truth. When you come into the truth, don't play around with it. Don't be one of them brothers that sit outside the gate. You understand? They sit outside the gate, and you gonna sit there like you waiting to jump in on double dutch. You know how when you're a kid, you playing double dutch, you sitting there waiting to jump in, and you just don't never jump in. You're like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. Don't be that brother. Jump in. You understand? And you know what? If you end up tripping and falling, so what? Keep jumping. You understand? Jump in. You understand? Because as long as you out there just being a forgetful hearer, then ain't nothing coming your way but more of the same things that you've been going through. Ain't nothing gonna change. Your soul is not gonna be converted. You understand? Like General Muhammad said, you know what I mean? A lot of brothers think because I can't come into the truth because I'm still smoking weed, I ain't right yet. Or I can't come into the truth because I still lust for white women. I can't come into the truth because, you know, I just want to sell dope. I want to sell this dope. I get this money. I got to pay my bills. I can't come into the truth yet. You understand? Eventually, you're not going to be able to come into the truth. You understand? And by then, it's going to be too late. The gate going to close. You understand? Yahweh Shah said, first I sent for many fishers. And they shall fish men. And guess what? We fishing brothers now. We fishing brothers and sisters all across the globe right now. But it's going to come a day where the Lord said he was going to send for many hunters. You understand? Get fish while the fishing is good. Now is the time where brothers and sisters need to be coming into the UPK. Now is the time where if you've been sitting here watching, wondering and waiting, now is the time for you to call your camp leader in your city and say, I'm ready to do my 90 days and get my Hebrew name. I'm ready to put on my all black and be a soldier, to be a good soldier the way my king ordered me to be. Yahweh Shah said, be a good soldier. You understand? He said to be a good soldier, not a good onlooker. You understand? It was probably plenty brothers and sisters that was watching the disciples and Yahweh Shah do his thing when he was here. It was plenty of brothers and sisters that sat on the sidelines and was like, yeah, man, them brothers really doing their thing. You understand? They tried to get me down with them, but, you know, I got to get this money. You understand? And then ended up stuck in Jerusalem because they was not in the truth. Ended up getting stuck in Jerusalem when Rome surrounded it. You understand? And then because they wasn't in the truth, they had to deal with all the horrors that happened during 70 AD when Rome destroyed Jerusalem. Don't be one of those brothers, man. Be one of them brothers that was in the truth. Be one of them brothers that said, you know what? I'm going to get down with the Akim. You understand? I'm going to roll with the Akim. You understand? I'm going to roll with the Lord's men. And Lord allow, the Lord have mercy enough on me that I can be one of them. You understand? It come a time where you got to decide that. You understand? Because just learning the law, just hearing God's law, ain't going to change you. You can watch 1 million YouTube videos, but until you walk this walk, nothing's going to change. You understand? You still going to be out here living day to day. You understand? Still running from the police, still on child support, still in and out of prison, still addicted to crack, still dying of HIV. You understand? Now's the time, man. Now's the time to get up in this body, man, and stop playing. You understand? We're going to go back to the original scripture that I pulled out, Psalms 19:7. It says, the law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure. Salah. Making wise the simple. Making wise the simple. You understand? So here's the deal, right? It takes a simple person to go out here and sleep with a white woman. That's a simple brother. That's a brother with no understanding, with no wisdom, no knowledge of anything. Just simple, man. Because if he was wise, he would understand that, you know what? 150 years ago, they'd have hung me from a tree for sleeping with this white woman. And you know what else? 150 years ago, all I could have did was gave this woman a handshake, and then she could have screamed rape, and they would have hung me for it too. You know what? I can't remember how many years ago it was, but you know what? Emmett Till was a child, and he got murdered for whistling at a white woman. Only for, what, 75 years later, 50 years later, for that woman to come out and say, I made the whole thing up. If he was wise, he would understand that this is the same white woman today that existed 150 years ago. It's the same one. The only difference is now they ain't hanging you from trees. Now they just jamming you in prisons, putting you in jail. You understand? And brothers, a lot of brothers thinking sleeping with a white woman, you know, this is the thing I don't understand. A lot of sisters, believe it or not, I've met a lot of sisters, talked to a lot of sisters that don't agree with child support. You know, I don't know if it's a down south thing or just a South Carolina thing or just an Anderson thing. I don't know. But it's a lot of sisters that don't believe in child support. You understand? They refuse to go down to the courthouse and put their child's father on child support. There's some sisters out there like that. But let me tell you this, brother. It's these devils out here. Have a baby with one of them. They are putting you on child support. You understand? And they are going to make sure that you never get custody. You understand? If you miss a payment, they are going to make sure that you end up in prison for it. You understand? And that is a reality. That is real talk. You understand? You think it's a game. Listen, there's plenty of Edomites out here on child support. Believe that. You understand? They the ones, they invented the whole child support courts. And they in it. They know it very well. So, brother, you scared of child support, you be a lot better off with a sister than you would be with a devil. You understand? So, it's a simple-minded person that wants to do things like that. A homosexual, that's a simple-minded person. You understand? Someone who eats pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. That is a simple-minded person. That person is simple. That person is not intelligent. That person lacks intelligence. You understand? They lack wisdom. But the scriptures say the law makes wise the simple. You understand? The simple meaning people that make bad decisions. You understand? That think imagine when we was young and dumb. You know, as brothers, when we was young, dumb, and not in the truth. You understand? We was about 15, 16, chasing after every girl with a training bra on. You understand? And we were simple. We didn't care what race she was. We just wanted all of them. You understand? And we would sleep with this one, sleep with that one, sleep with this one. You know, pass these around. We would do all type of things. You know what I mean? Chasing after our lust. You understand? Because we had no wisdom. You understand? We had no wisdom and understanding. You understand? Even a lot of brothers that date white women, you know, a lot of them hear from their parents, well, why you out here chasing around these white women, messing with these white girls? Don't you know they used to yada 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 for even talking to a white woman, and you want to go out here and sleep with one? They used to have us in slavery. You want to go out here and lay in the bed with one of them. You understand? And guess what? That's because those parents, they grew up at a time where there was segregation. They grew up at a time where these devils was hitting them in the face with bricks. You understand? Just for wanting to use the same bathroom, they getting hit in the face with bricks. You understand? And now we want to sleep with them. You understand? Because we lack the wisdom of learning from what our forefathers went through. We lack that wisdom. But guess what? This law, statutes, and commandments, this is the wisdom that our forefathers followed that made us a great and powerful empire. And guess what? Without these laws, statutes, and commandments, we are slaves under a completely different empire. You understand? A lot of brothers go to prison and they have to learn in prison that the greatest prison is the one in their mind. They have to free themselves from a mental prison in order to be able to survive in prison. You understand? Well, guess what? That same concept we need to apply to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because without the laws, statutes, and commandments, we are prisoners to America. We are prisoners to the world. We are prisoners. But with these laws, statutes, and commandments, we will rule the entire globe. You understand? Because with the laws, statutes, and commandments, it requires you to treat your brother a certain way. It requires you to do that. And guess what? It requires you to love your people so much that you can't afford to love nobody else. You understand? Think about it. It's like if you love your family so much, you love your family, your wife, and your kids so much that you can't afford to love another person's family. You can't afford to take two families to Disney World. You understand? You can't afford to take two families to the movies. You can't afford to buy groceries for two families because you're doing it all for your family. You understand? That is how blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians should be as a nation. You understand? There should never be a black farm that should fall because of lack of clientele. You understand? Every black restaurant should buy their food from a black farm. You understand? Every black man should buy his garments from a black clothing company. Every black man should buy shoes from a black manufacturer. You understand? Because those things will make us a rich and powerful empire. I remember reading a few years ago, said black people alone would make up 97, blacks and Hispanics make up 97% of consumerism in America. 97%. You understand? We make up 97% of consumerism in America. Which means that if every black and Hispanic person was to, for one day, instead of spending their dollar with another nation, they spend their dollar with their brother. That means 97% of the money that our oppressors make that day goes back into our pockets. Goes back into the black colleges. That goes back into black schools. that goes back into black families. You understand? These are the things that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians should be doing instead of giving everything to our oppressor, giving all of our love to our oppressor. You understand? The scriptures say the law of the Most High is perfect. The law of Yahweh is perfect. You understand? Perfect in the sense that not only is it going to build our empire automatically just by following the laws, because check this out, just by following the laws, Commander General Yohana was able to raise up brothers all around the globe, and we're talking thorough brothers that would kill and die for their brothers, that would protect their brother's family as if it was their own flesh and blood. You understand? That level of brotherhood and sisterhood only lives in the ISUPK and nowhere else. You understand? And it only exists here because according to the law is a requirement. You understand? It is required to love your brother. It's required to love your sister. You understand? It's a requirement to do that. You understand? But in Christianity, it's a requirement to be treasonous. It's required to betray your own people. That's what is required to be a Christian. Because think about it. In order to be a Christian, it's like the first thing you got to do is believe that God loves everybody. That's the first thing you got to understand as a Christian. You got to accept that. You can't be a Christian. You can't show up in the Christian church and think you're going to be all Christian and holy moly donut shop. You understand? You was not finna be no Christian and say Jesus is black, or God is black, or God only loves the Israelites. You're not about to be a Christian and all of that and believe that. You understand? Because a Christian, you got to accept that God loves everybody. You understand? You know what I'm saying? To be a Christian, you got to forgive. You got to forgive the child molesters. To be a Christian, because that's where the child molesters at. That's where the child molestation take place, in the Christian church. You understand? You know how many children got raped in church? In church. You understand? So the Christian church likes to portray itself as perfect, as God's will. You understand? But ain't nothing about the Christian church God's will. If that's the house of God, then what the hell Eddie Long got going on? Is that God's work? What Eddie Long was doing? Eddie Long was molesting people's kids, paying their way through college. Was what Eddie Long doing? Was Eddie Long doing the work of the Lord? You understand? Eddie Long not only shriveled up on national TV in front of everybody. You understand? But Eddie Long destroyed the minds of those boys that he was molesting. They was destroyed. They was mentally destroyed. All of them brothers could have been soldiers in the Most High's army, building up the kingdom of heaven. But instead, they was mentally destroyed from being molested by that sick bastard Eddie Long. You understand? So you can't have it both ways. Either God's law is perfect or the Christian church is perfect. You understand? Which one is perfect? You understand? Because I'll tell you what, if the Christian church ain't perfect, then you need to question your sanity for even continuing to be a part of it. You understand?
Go sit in the room. Go ahead.
Peanut.
So we got any questions in the room? Got any questions in the chat? All right, we got any questions in the chat? Go ahead and type them in if you got any questions.
Shy, didn't I tell you what's there?
I'm trying to get that
I
back.
said leave it alone. Go sit down.
I got the bag, dude.
All right, so we're going to go back to James chapter 1, verse 25. It says, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. You understand? So here's the deal. You can't just be a listener. You understand? You can't just listen to what the school teaches. You understand? And think that that's good enough. You understand? You have to do this. You have to physically keep God's law. You understand? You have to physically stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You have to physically stop sleeping with your brother's wife. You have to physically stop sleeping with white women. You understand? You have to physically stop sleeping with Chinese women, Arab women. And you have to physically stop molesting children. You have to physically stop being a homosexual. You have to physically stop these things. You have to physically come to the Passover. You have to physically pay your tithes. You have to do these things. You understand? Because if not, then you're just a Christian. You're just a Christian. Even if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, white Jesus Christ, and go to church on Sunday, you a Christian. Just because you got fringes on your t-shirt, you're a Christian. You understand? So here's the deal. Verse 20, go to Isaiah chapter 29, verse 13. Says, wherefore Yahweh said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me. You understand? So here's the thing, you know, when you learning these laws, you listening, watching the videos, you understand? You like to go around and tell people what you learning. And talk about how you an Israelite and this and that and blah, blah, and say, oh man, I'm learning I'm an Israelite, man. We God chosen people and blah, blah. You know what I mean? And we get out here and we running our mouth about what we doing and what we into, but yet you not in the truth. You're not keeping none of the laws. You don't even know the laws. You understand? It says, you know, you are this people that draw near him with your mouth. You understand? And with your lips, you do honor the Most High. You understand? And we're going to read on. It says, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. You understand? It says, but you know, even though you profess that you love God with your mouth, that you love everything that you're hearing. You understand? Your heart is still fixated to that blunt you rolling. You understand? Your heart is still fixated on that white woman that you chasing. Your heart is still fixated on all the things that the Lord told you not to do. You understand? You still loving that pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, talking about you an Israelite. You understand? Not even if you talking about you an Israelite. You still eating that pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and you talking about you a Christian, that you love God. You understand that you love Jesus. Jesus. You understand? Saying prayers over that bacon wrapped ham, the bacon bits on the ham with the shrimp and lobster on it. You understand? You eating all of that abominations, talking about you love the Most High. You love God, and with God, what they got the song? They got, I don't know how many Christian songs they got. Christian songs, I can't even listen to them no more. I can't even listen to a Christian song. It just sounds so disgusting. You understand? Can't stand the thought of a man singing to another man. It just disgusts me. In the Christian church, you hear a man singing, sound like he's singing R&B to his male lover. You understand? Like what's the brother name? Luther Vandross. Whole time you thinking he's singing to a woman, he's singing to a man. You understand? The Christian church is a disgusting place. Because that's where we learn that habit. That's where we get that spirit from, where it's okay for us to listen to things that we know we need to hear, but to not apply them. You understand? That spirit, that comes straight out of the Christian church. Like when you walk by the camp and you see brothers got the signs up, man, we put in work to build these signs. We didn't put these signs together just to look like the crazy niggas on the corner. We put these signs together to educate you on who you are as a people. To show you what has been hidden from you for 400 years. That's what we put this stuff together for, man. That's why we come up here and teach these videos every day. We teach class every day. We do that to uplift our people, to educate our people, man. That's what the UPK is here for. You understand? Meanwhile, we the ones get looked at as the bad guys, like we teaching hate. Hey, I sent a sister an article the other day. All I did was send the sister an article. You understand? Just sent the article, and the title of the article was "White Supremacist Groups Encourage Followers to Purposely Infect Black People with COVID-19." That was the article. That was an article that I sent to this girl, and that was all I did. I didn't say nothing, didn't type nothing. All I did was share the article with a bunch of people that I knew that lived in the area. And she went off talking about, why am I sending her hate? She don't want to hear nothing about hate. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I didn't even argue with the sister. I just like, no sweat. I'll make sure it never happens again. Don't worry. You understand? This sister, and that's the thing, like our people want to love our oppressor so bad and look at us as the enemy and look at us as what's wrong with the world. When here's the thing, what's worse? Here's how you can tell it's a sickness in the minds of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to choose to love our oppressor. Because which one is worse? For us to stand on the corner, show you in the Bible that you are God's chosen people, that you are God's beloved, and that the white man is the devil the Bible speak of. Which one is worse? For us to do that, or for our oppressor to knock on your door, spray your door handle down with COVID-19 saliva, spray it on some fruits and vegetables, and then knock on your door and say we're giving out free vegetables to our neighbors, and then your whole family catches COVID-19. Which one is worse? Which one is hate? What act of violence, what act of bioterrorism is the ISUPK pushing against white America? You understand? But yet, we're the hate group. We the worst. We the bad guys. Because we teach hate. Here's the thing, we don't teach hate. We are not a hate group. ISUPK is a love group. Because we the only organization on the planet that loves Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And guess what? When you love somebody, you hate the people that torture them. You understand? Think about it like this. If your child was kidnapped, and tortured and starved and beaten and raped, if this happened to your child, how would you feel about the people that did it? How would you feel about them? What thoughts would go through your mind in regards to that person? Would you love them? Would you feed them? Would you give them the clothes off your back? Would you consider it wrong to want justice? If not, then you're a hypocrite. If not, then you are a hypocrite. Because the same way you feel about your child being kidnapped and molested and raped, the same way you feel about the people that did that to your child, is the same way we feel about the oppressor that's done that to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for 400 years. It's the same thing. So you can't sit here and say that we are a hate group. Is what you're feeling, is that hate? Is that hate? Because if that's hate, and you're against that, then that means that you're against loving your own. You're against loving your people. That's the real issue. You are against loving them. You can't, think about it like this. You can't love the Chicago Bulls and cheer for the Portland Trail Blazers. You can't do that. You can't be a LeBron fan and cheer when Zion Williams dunk on him. What sense do that make? It don't make sense to me. You understand? What happens if what is something they say, a term they say, if you call yourself a Lakers fan, but yet you cheering when when somebody from another team, when Steph Curry make the three. You cheering when Steph Curry make the basket, but you a Laker fan. You ain't no real Laker fan. They say call you a traitor. You understand? Like, oh man, it's just a game, man. I love everybody, man. You either a Laker fan or you not. Well, guess what? I'm a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian fan. I'm a fan of my people. I'm not a fan of any opposing teams. I'm a fan of my people. You understand? In the ISUPK, we are fans of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? We are true fans. You understand? You want to be fans of the opposing team, go ahead. You understand? Be my guest. You understand? When they knock on your door, here's the thing. Like Tony Montana said in Scarface, he said, you need people like me. You understand? Well, guess what? You need people. You need the ISUPK. Because without the ISUPK, when that white man knock on your door, or white woman knock on your door, handing out free apples and cucumbers, you're going to accept it not even knowing that the whole time that they sprayed it down with COVID-19 so that you and your family can purposely be infected with the disease. You understand? You'll never see it coming. Guess what? Down in South America, I believe it was I could be wrong. I think it was the Aztec Indians. The Aztecs. Slovakia. The Aztec Indians. When Hernan Cortez came to America, right? When Hernan Cortez was a Spanish conquistador. And he was, if you ever seen this, it's a movie called The Road to El Dorado. In that movie, The Road to El Dorado, it's kind of like it's a cartoon comedy based version of a true story. It's based on a true story. In that book, in that movie, The Road to El Dorado, there's a bad guy in the movie, and his name is Hernan Cortez. The full story about Hernan Cortez. Hernan Cortez did a little recon on the Aztec Indians. And he found out through this recon that they have a high holy day coming up, which they believe that their God is going to return to the earth at the solar eclipse that's going to happen on this day. So you know what happened? Hernan Cortez timed his arrival perfectly to the solar eclipse. And when he arrived to South America during that solar eclipse, the Aztecs, many of them thought that that was the return of their God. So they accepted the Spanish conquistadors into the land with open arms, fed them, clothed them. And then Hernan Cortez began one of the greatest slaughters of Hispanic people in the history of mankind. He killed millions of people. I believe he killed almost 1 billion people. He killed looking for a city made out of gold. He was looking for a city made out of gold, and he killed almost 1 billion. He had a lust for gold. He lusted for gold. He loved gold so much that his entire armor was made out of gold. His helmet was made out of gold. His breastplate, shoulder pads, and all that, bracers and everything was all made out of gold because he loved gold that much. So like you understand? He loved gold that much that he wore it all over his armor. And he came down to South America and killed almost 1 billion Hispanic brothers and sisters looking for that land, looking for that city that he never found. You understand? And so the thing is that they were looking for their God, and when they seen our oppressor, they thought our oppressor was God. You understand? And then by believing him to be God, by loving our oppressor, think about it, like in history, look at how many times, look at what happened when our oppressor showed up in America. What did we do? We loved Esau. We showed him love. And what happened to the Native Americans when they loved Esau? When they loved our oppressor? What happened to them when they did that? When they gave him that love? Do I even need to ask? It's a rhetorical question because we're sitting here in America right now. I'm sitting here in South America right now in land that used to belong to the Cherokee Indian. You understand? Sitting here right now, living on conquered land. That's what happened when we showed our oppressor love when he first got here. As soon as he showed up, we showed him love, and he murdered us in the tune of 500 million, 50 million, Salakia. You understand? He killed 50 million Native Americans with smallpox. You understand? We gave him love. You understand? We gave him all the love. We gave him all of the love. The fact that America exists today is proof that we have loved our oppressor enough. We've loved him enough. He's gotten enough love from blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And guess what? We have shed enough blood because of it. You understand? This is why the law of the Most High is perfect. We give our love to our own, guess what? Our oppressor, he just gonna fall down and go broke. You understand? Because when we turn to our own at no point of anything will he be able to even challenge us. When we turn to our own, we turn to the Most High. We keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? All right, so we don't have no questions in the class. You got any questions in the class? All right, make sure if you haven't done so already, make sure you go ahead and like the video. And every time you watch a UPK video, throw them likes up, man. Show us some love. You understand? The likes that we get on our videos, that helps us to be able to show up better in YouTube, man, so we can spread this truth. So we can spread this thing, man. You understand? The least you can do is just hit the like button. You watch Commander Jenny Yohana show, make sure you hit the like button. You watch Cross the Line, make sure you hit the like button. You watch Let a Hebrew Speak, you understand the hidden truth, make sure you hit the like button. Boot Up or Shut Up, make sure you hit the like button. We got to get some likes going on, man. You understand? That's how we're going to spread this truth all over the globe. And that's how you can help us do it. You understand? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. You understand? Subscribe to our channels. You understand? Help this truth grow. You understand? You know, that's how we're going to get this word out there, man. And with that, all right, we are the ISUPK. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 to 21. Malachi 3 and 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew. Ma'ashera. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Of course, the next upcoming holy convocation will be the Passover. The Passover, we still yet have an official date on the Passover. As soon as we have the official date, we will go ahead and let you know. Make sure you check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. There's boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and war scarves. And with that, shalom.